there! Today's topic is about what is the imposter syndrome? Why do you even care? Why do you need to recognize it? What is it doing to your life? Why do you care? Let's talk about it today. My name is Nancy Muller, and I love bringing you these weekly videos about how to recognize and eliminate the imposter syndrome. So let's look at what it is, the definition, and how it could be showing up in your life, and how it's sabotaging you. All right, so first of all, if you look up the definition of the imposter syndrome, there is a psychological definition insofar as it is a syndrome where, we feel like we're not good enough, no matter how many successes, accomplishments, certificates, we still feel like, who am I to? So that's the psychological explanation or definition of the imposter syndrome. But what about if you take it to the next level? When you take it to the metaphysical level on a soul-based thought process, the imposter syndrome is anything that keeps you away from or thinking that you're less than your soul purpose. This is what I want to talk about today. All right, so why is it affecting you? Well, you came here to do something, right? Your soul came here and individualized as you, the person that you are watching this video, and you have a journey, you have a mission, a contract, whatever you want to call it. And when you're living that mission, that journey, that contract, you feel awesome. You feel wonderful. You wake up every morning and you look forward to the day. You look forward to what's happening. You love sharing yourself, your life, and what's going on. But on those days when you're not feeling so great about yourself, when something's happening that makes you feel less than, those are the days when your imposter beliefs are really feeding into the imposter syndrome. Those are the days when you're not going to play at your highest level, when you're going to tell yourself, like, I can't do this, or what was I thinking? This is what we want to keep you out of. So let's look at a couple areas where the imposter syndrome could be showing up for you. What about if you're a writer? Are you writing a book? Or do you have a book that you say you've been wanting to write? Maybe you've started it, you haven't started it, you've started it and you haven't finished it. What is the reason you've started it and haven't finished it? What is the reason you haven't started it? And if you've started it, why haven't you finished it and published it? What are the thoughts that are going through your mind? Because ego is so important for us, because ego helps us keep our individuality, right? We came here from the collective to experience who we can be as an individual. And ego helps us do that. It plays a very important role. But when ego starts to think it's in charge, that's when we start to get in trouble. Maybe not so much in trouble, but that's when we start to have doubts about ourselves. That's when we start to allow the imposter beliefs to really take over and manifest into our everyday thinking. And that's when we start manifesting the stuff we don't want. And that's why it's so important to be very, very clear on who you are, what you came here to do, and do you want to accept that? Do you want to go through your life like that? Feeling happy and joyful and wonderful and fabulous? By the way, my explanation and definition of fabulous is a woman who, no matter what's happened in her past, she doesn't allow it to define who she is right now. It's so difficult for so many women to appreciate and accept their fabulousness. I don't know if that's a word, but let's go with that. So if you are one of those people, what are the imposter beliefs that are feeding into your imposter syndrome and keeping you from that? Why aren't you writing that book? What is ego telling you? Oh man, who's going to read it? How are you going to publish it? What if you do all this work and it just goes over as a flop? See, that's what ego does. It thinks it's keeping you safe, but actually what it's doing, it's keeping you from living full out. So we definitely want to learn how to recognize these imposter beliefs. What about your marriage? You know that there's something that's not working, but you're hesitant to bring it up. You're hesitant to have that conversation. And then maybe you finally do work up the courage to have that conversation and it went over like a lead pipe, it's like it's not going anywhere. Now you have a decision to make because now you've brought it up and put it out there, and now you have to decide, okay, do I want to leave everything the way it is, or do I want to move forward? And moving forward brings on fear because you ask yourself, like, what does that mean? Does that mean my marriage is over? I don't want that to happen. And before you know it, ego is dragging you down that rabbit hole of negativity and fear-based beliefs that are feeding into your imposter beliefs. And, then the imposter syndrome creeps in. And it's like, well, what if I make a change? Oh, change. And change is something that we avoid. Ego says, no, don't change. We like things the way we are. Because if we stay the way we are, we know what's going to happen. But when you're not happy or satisfied or living full out with the way things are, change is inevitable. So this is why it's so important, life important, for you to really understand, recognize, and eliminate the imposter syndrome. Are you with me so far? Okay, what about your career? Maybe you've got some ideas at the workplace that you feel would really be helpful in helping the company go to the next level. But, that voice inside your head says, who am I? I'm just the XYZ person here. It's the bigger ups. They'll figure it out. So you don't say anything. What if you stepped up and you said something and then the higher ups were like, oh my gosh, that's fantastic. Everything could change. Anything can change in a moment's notice. But the reason it doesn't change is because we fear change. And we fear change because we allow our imposter beliefs to take over, to run rampant. So, what is it about your career? Maybe you know that you've been where you are for a very long time and you deserve a raise. It's like, hey, I have been working really hard. But with what's going on right now, you say, oh gosh, I better not say anything because if I say something, they're going to think I'm unhappy. And if they think I'm unhappy, I might lose my job, and jobs are hard to come by right now. You see how your beliefs, your imposter beliefs, start helping ego keep you where you are? Oh, everything is an inside job. We have to know where our thoughts are coming from. What are the beliefs behind our thoughts? What are the imposter beliefs that are holding us back? We are the only one that can propel us forward and help us to live the life that we really want to live. But we've been taught to live a life of cause and effect. Okay, if I do this, this will happen. Somebody will recognize me. Somebody will praise me. Somebody will give me more money. And that's not what life is about. It's time to get rid of cause and effect mentality and start understanding that everything we really love and want to happen in our life comes through us, not to us. And if you have a difficult time believing that, what are your imposter beliefs around that? What is feeding into your imposter syndrome? What about social media? Are you one that's maybe feeling down and depressed, but you're only posting things that are all sunshine and rainbows because you want people to think that you're living the life of Riley? Are you really being authentic with what's going on in your life right now? Or on the flip side, maybe you scroll through social media and you see people who are sharing sunshine and rainbows, and you feel depressed and you feel envious and you feel anxious, like, oh my gosh, how come they can do it and I can't do it? Chances are you never know where someone is coming from. When someone is hiding behind a screen or a keyboard, you just don't know what's really going on in their life. So why would you allow your imposter beliefs or ego to talk into your ear and say, see that? Look at them. They're really prosperous. They're really abundant. They really have it all. What the heck is your problem? You better just go out in the garden and eat worms because this is never going to happen for you. See, it's about recognizing and eliminating the imposter syndrome. That is what's really going to help propel you forward. What about your soul-based business? Maybe you've decided, like, you know what? I have found something that makes me feel really happy and gives me peace of mind, and I want to share it with others. I want others to feel this happiness and this peace of mind. But your imposter beliefs, ego, is talking into your head and saying, Who do you think you are? If you start talking like that to people, they're going to think you're airy fairy or like some voodoo princess or voodoo priestess, and you're going to lose all your friends. No one's going to talk to you. Do you see? We make it so difficult for ourselves because rather than just say, no, that's not true, we have the opportunity every single time these thoughts come into our heads to stop and say, wait, is that me or is that not me? And then pay attention to how you answer the question, because every emotion is only based on fear or love. So when something is coming into your mindset and it's saying, you can't do that, or people are going to stop talking to you, or you're going to lose all your friends, that's a fear-based mentality. That's a fear-based thought. That's a fear-based belief. So ask yourself, like, well, how can I move that from fear to love? Something that is loving and kind and makes me feel happy about who I am and what I want to do. When you get in the habit of monitoring your thoughts and paying attention to which thoughts are coming from fear and which thoughts are coming from love, that will help you to recognize and eliminate when imposter beliefs are coming in, when they're feeding the imposter syndrome, and how you can eliminate it. All right, so what about abundance? You know, you look around, you see others have, you don't have, you want, you don't have. What is it that you feel you're lacking? And remember, if you're thinking about lack, it's coming from a place of fear, because it cannot possibly come from a place of love, love-based thoughts. Love is everything that there is. So if you have everything that there is no space for lack. So pay attention. What are your thoughts? What's coming in? I can't possibly do my soul-based business or work my soul-based business because I could never make the money that I want to make from it. Well, you made the money, which is simply energy, from the work that you were doing before. You know you've got the capability of bringing that energy that is money into your life. So if you can do it there, you can do it with your soul-based business as well. Unless, of course, you allow the imposter beliefs to overtake your thinking, to overtake your mind. What about networking? We're all kind of staying social distancing and being in isolation right now, but we still network ourselves. We still market ourselves, get ourselves out there. How easy for you is it to be loud and proud about who you are, what you do, and what you have to serve others? Do you find yourself keeping quiet? Or do you find yourself, when you're around others who are loud and proud about what they're doing, do you find yourself judging yourself? Like, oh my gosh, I could never do what she does. Oh my gosh, look at her. She just seems like such a natural. She just makes this look so effortless. I could never do that. I could never get on a video. I could never share like that. That is coming from a place of fear, not love. And remember, fear-based thoughts, beliefs, feelings, emotions, these are all feeding into the imposter syndrome. This is why it's really important that you understand what it is so you can recognize it and then eliminate it. What about being out of work? There are people right now who are experiencing downsizing, being out of work, loss of job. And then what are your beliefs around that? You know, does your mind go to the word unemployed, and the definition of unemployed sends like signals to you that something dire is going to happen? Again, those are fear-based thoughts. Instead, ask yourself, all right, let's think how we can transmute these fear-based thoughts into love-based thoughts and manifest from this energy rather than manifesting from this energy. So as you can see, this work, manifesting, what it is that you truly want to have, do, or be in your life, it's an inside job. Remember, it's time to stop living a life of cause and effect. If I do this, I'm going to get this. Instead, embrace the thought. Start asking yourself, what's coming through me? Is it fear-based thoughts or is it love-based thoughts? And this will give you a good starting place to start recognizing and eliminating the imposter syndrome. If you like this information, if this has been helpful, please subscribe to the channel, share this video with others, Let others know what the imposter syndrome is all about so they can recognize and eliminate the imposter syndrome. This is an opportunity for us to share what we've learned. And leave some comments. You'd be surprised when you leave some comments and then someone else watches the video and they read your comments and they'll say, oh my gosh, I hadn't thought about it that way. See, this is how we all work together collectively to raise each other up so that we can all be doing, having, and being what our soul came here to do, be, and have. So subscribe to the channel, let me know your thoughts, and have a beautiful, wonderful, happy rest of your week. In the meantime, this is Nancy Muller saying ciao for now.